And they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign will there be when these things shall come to pass? And he said, Take heed that ye be not deceived, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near. Go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 7 through verse 10. Actually, through verse 11. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to our venerable apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone on down, and peace and blessings to Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Aharon coming back at you with a quick lesson, Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. And I'm going to title this, Today's Headlines Doesn't Define Tomorrow's Prophetic Reality. Okay, today's headlines doesn't define tomorrow's prophetic reality. And I want to focus more on what's going on in regards to this, the worst global oil crisis in more than 50 years. Okay, and that's what's happening right now, not just here in America. As a matter of fact, this morning, my first job was around like 9 a.m. So as I was heading out, I saw a gas station, and the gas was about $2.85 when I got there, when I was passing by there. And there was a line. There was, all the pumps were cars were there, and there was cars waiting to get in line to get some gas. So I'm like, you know what, man? Look, let me just run to this job real quick, right? And the house isn't far, right? So I'm thinking, all right, let me just run this job out, right? Finish it, and then on my way back home, by that time the car should be out of there, and then boom, get my gas and then be on my way for my next job. So I kid you not, within 35 to 40 minutes, okay, returning back from that job, same route, same road, same gas station, gas price went from $2.85 within less than an hour, okay, from $2.85 to $3.29, $2.85 to $3.29, just like that. And I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, yo, I was like, yo, I was just right here, like just not too long ago. Okay. Not too long ago, the gas prices went up. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, yo, what the like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. Like, damn, So I said, hey, listen, let me do what I got to do. Go fill up my tank. So right then and there, I called my brother, and I told him, I was like, yo, wherever you at, stop what you're doing, go fill up your tank and just wait and see how this thing play out. Because the way this is going, if this should keep up, by the end of the day, we're going to be seeing some crazy numbers. Because now what's going to happen is people, say it's Friday, right? People are still at work right now. And probably by the time I'm doing this video, a lot of people are getting off of work. They're going to realize the gas prices are going up. So everyone is going to be jumping on these, they're going to be jumping to these gas stations. So everyone is going to be there at the same time. You're going to have long lines and frustration, and the prices are going to keep going up. All right, come throughout this weekend into to Monday into next week, expect these prices to go up and up and up. All right, and this is all part of the end time turmoil that we always talk about. Okay, that there's going to be events that's going to happen that's going to affect your daily life, whether you like it or yes. That's what's called biblical prophecy. Okay, and our Lord Yahushua gave us the blueprint of what to expect. Okay, going into when you're hearing of wars and rumors of wars and commotions, that's what we're hearing right now. Okay, we're seeing the wars and we're hearing of other commotions around the world. We're getting the wars and rumors of wars. One day they say, oh, this country is attacking this country, and then, oh, Israel has just done this, and then United States just sent troops to Ecuador, and Oh, they're going after this country now, and Cuba's next. Right? All you're hearing about is wars and rumors of wars because we are in the time of war. Okay, we are in the month of war and also in the time of war. And this war ends, as is written in the book of Second Ezra, the 13th chapter. Okay, Yahushua coming back with his angels and destroying, all right, the armies of this world. Okay, you got the sixth branch of the U.S. government, otherwise known as the Space Force. That's going to be demolished. All right, it's described actually in the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, the war in heaven. That describes the destruction and decimation of the so-called Space Force, right? The beast and his dragon, all right, fought against Michael and his angels. The dragon and his angels fought against Michael and the angels are coming down with Yahushua. So it's an intergalactic war. That's how Third World War ends. It's an intergalactic war that ends with America's complete and utter destruction. Whether people want to believe it or not, you have months before we get to that point. We're not there yet. We're not there. There's a whole lot more. See, these events right now is the catalyst of the time that we've been talking about. Okay, the energy crisis, the food shortages, the pestilences, right? Remember, as Yahushua gives a succession of prophecy, he says that you're going to have the wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. And then you're going to have, the rising against the nation rising against nations and kingdom against kingdom. And then you're going to have the earthquakes. We've seen the earthquakes already, right? The things that precedes the beginning of sorrows. We've seen all those things. Now we're about to see the famines. Okay, we're about to see the pestilences on an all-time high, right? Because pestilences stem from famines. Right, when there's a famine that goes on for a long time, it's not just a famine of food, but you have a famine of everything that's essential to life. And this right here that's going on, this global oil crisis, is an impact on how people will live their lives. Okay, so let's read this real quick. It says here, are you prepared for the worst global oil crisis in more than 50 years? If you have not already done so, I would recommend filling up your vehicle because it looks like the price of gasoline is going to go much higher. At the very beginning of this war with Iran, the price of oil didn't rise too much because many investors were anticipating a quick victory over Iran. But now it has become exceedingly clear that there will be no quick victory, and the price of oil is spiking dramatically. Dramatically, that's an understatement. Okay? It says, unless something really crazy happens, this is going to be an extended conflict. And that means that the flow of oil out of the Middle East will not return to normal for quite some time. According to CNBC, the Iranians just hit another oil tanker with a missile. It says, Iran claimed to have struck an oil tanker with a missile according to a state media report. Iran's Revolutionary Guard ordered a closure of the Strait of Hormuz earlier this week and threatened to attack tankers passing through it, according to the state media. The British Navy on Thursday reported a large explosion at a tanker at anchor in Iraqi territorial waters, which Iraq borders Iran. Okay, so if you're saying all this extra shit, just understand that you're in the vicinity where Iran could strike you. Okay, don't test it, don't push it. You niggas is the reason why all this shit is happening in the first place. All right, and the world is seeing it. All right, everyone, everyone, I don't care who it is that I've spoken to so far about this whole thing, they're all saying the same thing. Yo, man, why the fuck did America get involved in all this shit in the first place? Look what's going on. I said, understand, America is ran by Israel. America is the beast that Israel rides on, if you will. Okay, so anything America is doing, Israel's going to be, behind it, so to speak. And it's very interesting because Israel refers to America, some of the rabbis and stuff, they refer to America as Edom. Okay, you have Netanyahu refer to America as Rome. Okay, he called it the Roman Empire. He called it Rome and Edom. So if biblical prophecy says that the Lord is going to destroy Edom because he came against Israel, how is it that modern day Edom, which is America, right, is in league with modern day Israel? Ain't they supposed to be going against each other? Ain't Edom supposed to be coming against Israel, right? Actual Israelites? Yeah, exactly. So just that narrative alone destroys, because they're in league. All right, what's his name? Hexeth, that piece of shit. He's out here on stage talking about, the what do you say? The flags of the U.S. and Israel are going to be soaring over Iran together, right? Something to that effect. And we're going to be blowing them up all day, all night until we decide, yeah, we've had enough. And that's why the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Okay, the Lord is going to put a monkey wrench in all your plans. When he's about to fill his belly, the wrath of the Most High is going to fall upon him. You want to talk about Operation Epic Fury, which in the scriptures is described as great wrath. It's the same thing. Okay, epic fury. Why are you in a fury? Why are you epically furying? Why is that? Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. That's why. That all these things just happen. Is like, oh, what the fuck? Like, dude, what happened? What made you do all these things? Because they know it that they hath but a short time. They have intelligence that leads them into the spiritual realm. So they know more things than we do. All right, at least on the surface level. But when it comes to prophecy, nah, they don't know shit. Okay? They're just following through and doing as the prophecy states. All right, so you got all these. I understand that, of course, right now as it stands, it's still in the early stages, so it could be a little confusing. You got a lot of Christians that are saying, oh, well, what about Ezekiel 38? I mean, if all these Arab nations are fighting against each other, ain't they supposed to come together to fight against Israel? Right. That's how the world, the other countries commence into the World War III and like Armageddon, like how Hegseth and them are saying. Once these other nations join in to the battle, because remember, the least of the flock is going to draw them out. Okay, they're drawing them out right now, but it's not just, Iran that they're going against. No, it's going to be those neighboring countries over there. They're going to join together to fight against America and Israel. Okay, and that's what's going to drag America into it, Russia into it. All these major countries that have the capacity to destroy, all right, on a grand scale, they're going to be jumping in. Okay, they're reserved now. You notice they're reserved. They're all reserved. China is reserved. Russia is reserved, right? They're just doing diplomatic talks. But eventually they join in, right? They join in. And when they join in, they're going to be working with Iran and so on and so forth, man. Okay? So, and Turkey too, right? Let's not forget Turkey. They're going to be in the frame soon, right? So it says here, Iran's Revolutionary Guard ordered a closure of the Strait of Hormuz earlier this week and threatened to attack tankers passing through it, according to state media. And I believe as of today, they said that it's partially closed. So they're just allowing pretty much most tankers except for American and Israeli tankers. So if you're an American ship or a vessel or Israeli vessel, you don't swing over there. All right, you're not gonna make it out alive, basically. Okay, and they're justified in doing that, right? Gone are the days where America just gets to play the victim and the aggressor at the same time. You can't do that because the world is watching. You see, the shit that America is doing right now, they've always been doing, but it was done covertly. Okay, now it's just being done in the open. All right, it's being done in the open because what the hell are they going to do? The majority of the people that they have in these high positions, they're all retarded. They're all ed. All right, they have no idea what the hell is going on. They just talk right out their ass. They don't know what the hell is going on. When you listen to people like Scott Ritter and damn, I forget the other guy's name. All right, they're always talking about that. You know, that America has lost its moral compass. I'm like, it never had a moral compass to begin with. Okay, it's lost its mind. It never had a mind to begin with. All right, these niggas is beasts, man. It says the British Navy on Thursday reported a large explosion at a tanker at anchor. I think we read that already. It says the Iranian side of the Strait of Hormuz is absolutely teeming with anti-ship missiles. Until something is done about that, traffic through the Strait of Hormuz will continue to be paralyzed. It says here, many are comparing the current state of affairs to the oil embargo of 1973. Okay, and 1973's oil embargo, as a matter of fact, let's get a little bit of information on that, right? 1973 oil crisis. It says here, the 1973 oil crisis was triggered by an OPEC oil embargo against the U.S. and other nations that supported Israel during the Yom Kippur War. Okay, causing oil prices to quadruple and leading to severe economic consequences like stagflation, which is, high inflation and, stagnant growth, basically, right? The crisis resulted in gas shortages, long lines at pumps, and long-term shifts in energy policy. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. This right here, I said it like a couple videos ago, right? Brother's been saying it, that these things is what leads to the change, the catalyst that changes everything. Okay, both domestically and foreign. All right, a lot of policies will be coming down the pike, all as a result of what's going on right now, and it's going to stay. It's not going to be we're just gonna fix the problem right now so we can get back on the road as normal. No, 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 no. Nothing from here on out will be normal moving forward. Okay. It says here, including a push for fuel efficiency and alternative energy sources. Okay, so what are the causes of the 1973 oil crisis? The Yom Kippur War. Who was in the midst of that? Them Jays. 1973, all the way back there. Okay, Arab members of OPEC imposed the embargo in retaliation for U.S. support of Israel. Okay, so this thing is not new. This whole battle beef, it's not new. Okay, it says production cuts. OPEC members cut oil production and limited exports to targeted countries. Economic factors. A decline in the value of the U.S. dollar also eroded OPEC's earnings, contributing to the crisis. And what are the effects? Some of the effects, they had an economic, social, and political effect, right? What is the economic effect that happened back in 1973? It says oil prices jumped up by about 350%. Oh man, I'm not even going to try to even bother doing the math right now, but if oil prices jump about 350% right now, it's game over, man. Forget about it. Forget about it. It's over with. Okay? It says leading to a global recession, high inflation, and unemployment. Okay? The social effects. Americans faced gas rationing. Okay, so you have energy rationing right now. You got a lot of people who are complaining about their light bill, their energy bills doubling. Okay, you paying $120 a month, now you paying $240, bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. You're doubling your burdens, and then they tell you, oh, it's for delivery fees. Delivery fees? How? Delivery on what? What are you delivering? Okay, so they're taking into effect the things that they're doing behind closed doors to get you the polished product. Everything is coming out of your pocket. It's going to affect the grocery stores because the trucks got to use gas to come over there. And if they got to pay OD at the tank, at the station, when it gets to the store, they're going to put that on the tab. And guess what? The supermarkets are going to put that on the consumer. Right? So continuing, it says Americans face gas rationing, long lines at gas stations, and a new awareness of energy conservation. Okay, so lights are going to be cut off for a while because they got to conserve the energy. It's too much, on the power grid. Oh, we need to, blah, blah, blah. Whatever reason they're going to come up with is all problem reaction solution. Okay. Political/policy, right? The crisis shifted global oil control toward Middle Eastern governments and spurred long-term changes, including development of fuel efficiency standards for vehicles, increased interest in domestic energy production, and greater focus on nuclear and renewable energy. Okay, so the same very things that they don't want Iran to have, which is nuclear energy, right? They're not saying, oh, we want to build bombs. They just want to use it for energy purposes. America says no. Israel says no. Okay. Now Trump is saying, oh, I'm going to be part of those who are going to basically put a power in Iran. Whoever that power is going to be, right? I want to be the one to be part of that process. It's crazy, man. Okay. Again, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Okay. Whose look was more stout than his fellows. That's Esau, man. You could see that in eagle-faced Trump's face. Even though now the Lord is humbling him, he's getting all kinds of infirmities. Niggas swollen ankles, the back of his hand looking all crazy colored, multicolored and shit. Purple. One day it looked pink. The next day it looked black. The next day it's like, this nigga here. Now I seen the other day it was like something on his neck. Right? Got this new thing on his neck. Nigga got all kinds of orange makeup all over his face to cover all that shit. He's dying inside, man. He's dying from within. Okay, and the Lord is going to use him. When he's done, he's going to get rid of his ass. All right? All that pompous talking that he be doing, talking shit. We always say you devils are as invincible as a small little illness. Okay, the Lord could literally just plague you with some illness that you could just never get rid of, and that'll be the end of it for you. Okay, like you're not invincible. You're nothing but a man. Like nothing but a man that literally you can get into a car accident or a plane crash, or somebody could just, a stray bullet could just hit you. Somebody could, you know what I'm saying, sniper, assassin could just boom you out of there. You know what I'm saying? All these presidents, they're not untouchable. The Lord is the one who preserves them for certain reasons, especially when it comes to prophecy. Other than that, you niggas is all disposable, man. Okay, and we're gonna show you that in the next 1,000 years, when the kingdom comes, we will show you just how disposable you devils really are. Okay. We're gonna use you and abuse you. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right, you're gonna be getting size 13, size 15, size 17 boots, right? Stomping on your red little pink heads and asses. That's what's gonna be happening to you devils. Okay, for Trump it's gonna be orange, but everybody else is gonna be pink and red. All right, we're gonna bruise you, man. That's what's gonna happen. That's it's called discipline. We're gonna discipline your ass. I'm gonna have a nice little army filled with just Edomites, and I'm just gonna be putting them through the most rigorous fucking training sessions, knowing damn well they're not gonna make it. You see what I'm saying? But hey, discipline. Stay up. Stay alive. If you die, you're done. I'll bring you right back to fuck you up some more. Oh, you devils are in trouble, man. All right, just pray that we don't get to that kingdom, man. Just pray. Keep praying. All right, just keep praying. Cold ass niggas. Keep going. It says, so going back to the article, all right, it says here, many are comparing the current state of affairs to the oil embargo in 1973. We just read about that. It says, but the truth is that the disruption that we're experiencing now is far greater than anything that we experienced back then. Okay, because now like the internet now isn't what it used to be back then. All right, everything now is interconnected. All right, interwoven to one another. So the slightest inconvenience is going to cause a huge disruption. They don't need to do too much of this shit. Just prolong it for just a little bit, long enough to cause an actual crisis. An energy crisis is coming. I keep saying it. I keep saying because it's part of their plans. Back in the 80s and the 70s, they've been planning these things. In their minds, they thought this was all going to play out back before the year 2000. Okay? When you read some of the documents and agendas they've had, man, they've been planning this shit for 1990, 92, 95, 98. They wanted to hit everything before the year 2000 because they were also convinced that the Lord was going to come back, all right, the year 2000. Okay? They listened to the prophets. They be listening. You see what I'm saying? Trump said it. He said, there are prophets that say that the world is going to come to an end in the Middle East. You know that, right? All right? So he knows. He knows. Playing pretend. He knows what's going on. All right? He's been briefed on all kinds of intelligence information, right? Things that be going on in the heavens. You see what I'm saying? They know all these things. The Lord says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay? So things that pertains to the earth, they know about it. Okay? The Lord gave them the ability to know about it. What do they do with it? Just destroy it. You know what I'm saying? Just create a more hostile environment just to bring about destruction and death. And now they're just doing it openly. Come on the podium and tell you straight up, yeah, we represent death and destruction. That's what they do. Okay? And they're going to get what's coming to them. You're not going to escape, you damn devils, you Edomites. All right? It says, so how does this get fixed? Well, the truth is that it isn't going to get fixed until the war ends. Well, that means it's never going to get fixed. It's over with. Shit. It says, at this stage, the U.S. and Israel have achieved full aerial dominance and are bombing the living daylights out of Iran. Well, that's what they're saying. Okay. Meanwhile, there's some information that came out that Iran had set up. I think it was like a drawing or a painting that you could see from outer space on the ground, and it looked like one of their fighter jets, or like at least 3 fighter jets. But it was a painting, but it looked very much like real life if you're looking at it from a bird's eye view from where they get their scope from. And these niggas, America and Israel, went and bombed these so-called aircrafts. Come to find out, it's just paintings. Iran just outsmarted them. And I'm like, damn, nigga, what the fuck? Like, so Hex said them, they're sitting here talking all this tough shit, but yet they're doing the wrong things over there. All right. And guess what? Eventually, once Russia gets into it, people are going to start getting nervous. These people, they're going to start getting nervous. You're going to hear the tone. It's going to change. Watch. Just watch. Okay? You're going to hear Trump sounding more and more uncertain, more and more like, yo, I don't even give a fuck no more, bro. Like, this shit is a wrap. Like, yo, pay me my money and let me get out of here. You know? There's going to be a lot of betrayals, too. A lot of people who are in the know, they're going to be coming out spewing the beans, talking mad crazy. Oh, we knew about this. We told them not to do this, da da da. Our government's going rogue, da da da. You're going to see it. Okay? It says regime leaders are now it says but that won't bring an end to the regime. Regime leaders are now hiding deep underneath hospitals, schools, and mosques. And isn't that the same thing that they said Hamas was doing back when they were blowing up Palestinians? They said, oh, they're hiding underneath hospitals and mosques and schools and shit like that. So we need to blow them up. One Hamas member, we're going to blow up a whole building that has 200 people in there. Because, you got one nigga that's hiding underneath that place. We don't know if he's there, but, our AI, people detector says that he's down there. Let's go find him. So we blow up the whole building. Anyway, regime leaders are now hiding deep underneath hospitals, schools, and mosques. 125,000 heavily armed members of the IRGC have full control of the major cities, and Iran has one of the largest armies in the world. Sending in a few thousand Kurds won't do much against any army that boasts more than 600,000 men on active duty and more than 300,000 men among the reserves. In order to bring the regime in Iran to an end, it will require either a ground invasion or the use of nuclear weapons. And Trump and them are already talking about potentially having boots on the ground, right? But they're getting resistance right now. So you best believe something has to happen for them to be justified with Congress giving them the go-ahead to put boots on the ground. Okay, because niggas ain't trying to go die for Israel like that. The cat's out the bag. Who's behind all these things that's going on? Israel. Who's pushing all this bullshit? Israel and US. Right? So people see it. They say, no, this ain't right. This ain't right. I don't even care if, what I'm saying, like, if Israel's going ahead to do all this shit, let them do it. But don't bring Americans involved. Like, don't do that shit. You see what I'm saying? So people are starting to push back. That's why in the book of Jeremiah it says what the mighty men have forborne to fight. All right, they have been like, they're like as women, they've forborne to fight, man. Okay, they don't want to go back to that battlefield. For what? When you have all the problems that's happening here on the homeland, you out here sending money and aid and all this extra shit focused on foreign shit, causing more problems on the homeland based on your foreign policies, man. Right? So people are seeing these things and they're not with it. They're not with that shit. That's all part of the division that's happening here in America. The Egyptian against the Egyptian. Okay? It says the other way that this war could stop is if the US and Israel simply decide to stop attacking and allow the current regime to remain in power. Well, that'll go against everything that they've been saying. Okay? They said, oh, they got nuclear, they're building a nuclear arms and all the nuclear capabilities is rising. Oh, Iran, in the next 2 weeks they could have some nuclear weapons. Oh, Bibi Yahoo, nasty looking ears, big ass ears, looking like a friggin' mouse, church mouse. He just talked too much. He gets slapped up. You know what I'm saying? Somebody need to grab that nigga, kidnap his ass, slap him up a little bit. Because these niggas, they're nothing but Edomites. All right, so the Lord is the one who put them in these positions, but they're nothing but Edomites who are driven forth from among men. They done crept back into society and look what they're doing. Killing people, stealing, robbing, pillaging. That's what they do. That's why you don't allow people like this to be in any power position. Okay? Edomites are not supposed to be in power position. Hence, look what's going on around the world. Senseless bombings and killings. That's what happens when you have Edomites in power. They lie, they cheat, they steal. Okay? They'll murder you. All right? Continue, says, if Israel and America was to stop attacking Iran and let the current regime stay in power, that would be considered a victory for Iran and a loss for the US and Israel. Personally, I don't think that President Trump will be eager to admit defeat anytime soon. So now, it says for now, the war will continue and the global oil crisis will escalate. Okay. Interestingly, the Chinese are trying to convince the Iranians to allow vessels that are carrying oil and liquefied natural gas to China to travel safely through the region. China is very dependent on oil and liquefied natural gas from the Middle East, and there's a feeling that the Iranians may make an exception for them, right? Because they're on good terms, right? Their beef is mainly because of with America and Iran. Simple. I mean, America and Israel. It's a lot. Simple. All right. It says, but the rest of us are going to experience significant pain. The whole world is going to go through significant pain, because if America and Israel don't get what they want, they're going to cause everybody else to suffer some shit. Okay. All these, especially the European countries, because Russia is going to, Putin is let's keep reading. Since the war began, gasoline prices have already been jumping all over the country. Retail gasoline prices in the U.S. have jumped nearly 27 cents since last week, last week, to $3.25 per gallon. Shit. It says on average, according to motorist group AAA. The last time gas prices made a similar jump was in March 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine, the group said, and I remember that. We all remember that. Okay? It says it is obvious that this is just the beginning. Unless some sort of miracle happens, the price of gasoline is only going to go higher, and the White House is desperately searching for solutions. Check this out. President Donald Trump's chief of staff, Susie Wiles, is telling his advisors to bring ideas to the Oval Office to lower gasoline prices in the wake of the U.S. attack on Iran, according to the two energy industry executives familiar with the conversations. Did it not just take Venezuelan oil? Did not Trump say that they got all kinds of oil here in America, in the homeland? So what's going on? Why don't you just open up the reserves? Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Bring them prices down, right? It says the White House is looking under every rock for ideas on improving energy prices, okay, especially gasoline prices, said one of the executives who was granted anonymity to describe internal administration discussions. All right, they're just finding a way to calm the people down, because once the people find out what's really going on, they're going to bug out. Once it starts hitting the banks, they're going to bug out. Okay, you want to talk about long lines in the gas station and people pissed off? Taking the next step further when they start fucking with people's money, right? So apparently things are so tense that Interior Secretary Doug Burgum and other top advisors are getting screamed at. Oh, shit. Energy Secretary Chris Wright and other advisors focused on energy policy. 1973. What was that shit called? The OPEC oil crisis. What was it called? 1973 oil crisis. Right? It led to changing of energy policy. Right? So they coming up with new energy policies, right? Including a council led by Interior Secretary Doug Burgum, quote, are getting screamed at to find some good news, end quote. On bringing down prices, the same executive said. Folks are scrambling for announcements and messaging to counter the narrative of rising prices, this person said. Okay, it ain't no narrative, it's the reality. They just want to bring a narrative so people could calm down and be like, oh, no, what you're seeing isn't really what it is. As a matter of fact, we're working on it. Right? Trump, they keep asking Trump, what does he say? He said, well, prices are going to go up. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go up, but they'll come down once this war is over. They'll come down, and if it keeps going up, then it goes up. This bitch. It says, I don't know what Doug Burgum is supposed to do. He can't stop this war. Now that missiles are flying back and forth, there is no turning back now. So that means the war ain't over. All right, that means your prices ain't going down. Right? Sensing an opportunity, Vladimir Putin is threatening to cut off the flow of natural gas to Europe. During the weeks ahead, global energy prices are going to be such a huge story. All over the world, people are going to be blaming the United States and Israel for the price of gasoline. Okay? Let's get that. United States and Israel. United States and Israel. Let's get that. It's the book of Obadiah, verse 1. It says here, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh power, concerning Edom. These two nations, these two countries here, America and Israel, they're predominantly Edomite ran nations. Israel is Amalekites all the way through. America is mixed with a whole bunch of Edomites, different types of Edomites, from Amalek to Teman to whatever. They're all in there. Okay, they're all in there. To Eliphaz, all of them niggas is in here. All right, that's what makes the house of Esau. Okay, so the Lord is attributing this very verse here, and this whole chapter is directed towards Esau, Edom, the rulers of this earth, as is written. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So we're looking at the end of this devil, this man, this kingdom. Okay. So the Lord says what? The Lord concerning Edom, right? Concerning the land of Edom and the Edomites, we have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye and let us rise up against her in battle. Okay, let's assemble our armies and attack Edom. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. Greatly despised, meaning you're hated, dreadfully hated, man. Okay, greatly despised. Everybody knows the truth now. Everybody, but they just can't say it because for so long, if you're in the U.S. or in the Western Hemisphere, they're going to deem you an anti-Sem. And if you're in Europe somewhere, they're going to say, "Oh, you're a Holocaust. You're a denier." And that was like, it's over with. It's like calling somebody a conspiracy theorist. Once you get labeled that, you're losing sponsorships, you're losing business, whatever it is that you're doing in the world, it's going to be shut off. And once you put them on blast like that, they're coming after you. You see, it says here. So going back to finishing on Obadiah, verse 3 says, "The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock," right? Starting with Petra, Seir, okay, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, "Who shall bring me down to the ground?" That's how they think. Okay, we're never going to be taken down. Who's going to bring us down from the ground? Who's going to ever fight us? Who can make war against us? Right? Who shall make war against the beast? Right? So that's their mindset. The Lord has set them up that way because why? Pride goeth before a fall, and a haughty spirit before what? Destruction. That's what the Lord is doing. He's setting them up. All right, He's getting them ripe for the killing. Okay, for the sword, right? That's going to be bathed in Edom. Okay. It says during the weeks ahead, global energy prices are going to be such a huge story. All over the world, people are going to be blaming, they're already doing it, the United States and Israel for the price of gasoline. We were warned in advance that this sort of scenario was coming, and now it is here. The longer this war drags out, the worse global economic conditions will become. Our entire way of life, right, depends upon cheap energy, and now that entire paradigm has been put at risk. Okay, so yeah, man, this is again. Moving forward, all you're going to be hearing about is these kinds of prophecies, okay? Things that's going to be leading to World War III. And of course, things that's going to lead to that crisis that brings in that MOTB. Because that's what's left. That's the only thing that's left here before this place get destroyed, man. All right, all these things that's happening simultaneously, crisis and this crisis, that poly crisis, the result of that poly crisis is that CHIP. And right after that CHIP is mandated and you got mad people taking it, you're going to see the missiles fly over here in America. But until then, it's not going to be guns blazing, bombs over Baghdad over here in America like that. You might have certain instances where it's false flags and shit, but like the ultimate America's destruction happens post MOTB mandated and you got mad people taking that shit. Okay, that's how this thing plays out. Okay, that's how this thing plays out. All right. But yeah, man, this is the end of America as you know it. Okay, these things are all part of what brings America down to her knees. Okay, this is what brings America down to her knees. Nobody respects her no more. Right? That's how these nations are looking at America. As a matter of fact, we got the power now. We could hold you down. We could hold you hostage. We're going to shut down the whole Straits of Hormuz. What are you going to do then? Right? It's going to affect you and your market and the people around you and your friends and your families and all that. Right? And if you want to do a ground invasion, bring that ass. Nigga, we here. Right? So Iran is on that type of time where it's like, yo, you took out our head leader. Bro, it's on. It's up from here. Okay? Forget about all this rah-rah shit that y'all niggas. It's on. That's the Iranian mindset. Okay? And the whole world is watching. All right? The whole world is watching. Okay? So anyway, I'm going to end it off there. Lord willing, you're edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. The water Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.